Do you feel that evil and good are real things, or do you think that maybe they're man-made?
That's a really good question. That's something, the sort of thing that we touch on a lot in the podcast. I would like to say the real things, but when you actually strip things back to the bare bones, most things are man-made. So yeah, I would probably be leaning more towards the man-made. So then that actually makes my thought process a bit obsolete because, well, we don't know, right? We don't know if what the government are doing right now is the right thing.
Yeah, and then you ask yourself, like, what kind of aliens would align with the government we find in such detest, you know? And then if so, are the aliens being bamboozled? We're sitting here maybe just going, holy shit, look what we did to the indigenous peoples of this land and our governments did when treaties were given and hands were shaken. You know, maybe these extraterrestrials are getting bamboozled by us, and maybe they're just as, I don't know, frail, you know, emotionally or mentally. Who knows? You know, there's a lot of, again, presuppositions. We
But then there's
presuppose.
the other side, which I could go down as well, is the sort of occultism side. Maybe they've gone back to sort of a certain level of occultism where they've managed to make contact with a different planet, for example, and called
Oh
them,
yeah, they're using occultism to go through the dimensions.
yeah, to call them over here.
Yeah. And do you think that that's then relegated to good and evil? Like that morality plays a part in if you're able to contact entities or not?
I think from where we sort of define good and evil, we define it from religious texts, right? I feel every nation on the planet has been attached to some kind of religion. So all of our morals have been through religious texts. But those texts have had to start from somewhere. So this is where I go down sort of with ancient civilizations. What did they know that we don't know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
they have written these stories down in these books and passed it down. It's lasted millennia.
yeah. And the stories and concepts that are hidden, it's very interesting because then you go into the UFO community and you start talking to folks that talk about the anti-gravitic work that's being done, like in people's garages and stuff. And they say that it's surprisingly right under your nose. So you could kind of empathize a little bit, not with the evils of it. I feel that there was a time when it was much more enlightened and shared, and that there's just some sort of fall of man that occurred that needed for this evolutionary process to occur that we're in now. And so it feels that there was some sort of apprehension of it, but it's alarmingly like right here, right under your nose. And then when you discover anti-gravity, you actually get time travel and interdimensional travel and multiverse travel and all that stuff. So it's really interesting and again terrifyingly right here and very accessible for everyone. So then you call in the idea of that if anybody can manifest a tulpa, if anybody can astral project, if they practice hard enough, you know, does morality play a part in that? Do you need to be of virtue to be able to access those things here? And if we're talking about sort of the symbolism that we see in the media and everything else, then we would, you know, have to honestly look at it and say no. Even in manifestation, perhaps, where the idea goes is that you create the world with your life, with your mind and your thoughts, and that if you clean up the muck enough and you just get clear enough on what you want and your focus, you can have anything you want and create it here. Nowhere in there does it say that you need to have a good heart or that you need to be kind to people or that you don't step on people along the way. Those are all things that we pick up and that we would prefer to see in the world, but they don't actually exist here. Nothing in this place actually has any meaning whatsoever after what you give it. So the point is here is to make this thing meaningful, right? That's not a hopeless statement. That's a factual statement, but it's a inspiring and empowering statement because it means that whatever you feel disempowered by, whatever has been removing you of your confidence, you absolutely don't need to fucking take anymore. You know, there's this beautiful little sticky note I've got here. If it undermines my worth, it will be replaced. Excuse me. It's very easy once you see this place to really look at it that way. Now, there's nothing cold hearted about wanting yourself to do better. There's nothing cold hearted about setting clear boundaries for yourself to where others can't cross them. And there's nothing wrong or cold hearted about you wanting a life that you deserve. It's the methods in which you go about it, in which you've been told by the program aren't going to work because they're at odds with your beliefs. So a lot of people, for instance, let's say we'll see the elites, right? And even when you hear the word elite, it's got a negative connotation to it, right? It's very loaded. It's very, oh, this person's elite. And what does it automatically do? So it automatically separates them from you. And it automatically, just because of the word, the feeling, there's so much power in that one word that it separates and puts them above you. So instantly within those two words, oh, the elites. Now we've separated ourselves, and then we've determined that there's a better and worse within the separation, and said that this is where this is, and this is where we feel that we are. But this, now everything we say after the elite sucks, right? So we've now said that there is a difference, that there's a difference in elevation, that we've determined that this is better, but it sucks. And so therefore, what do we all do? We stay the fuck away from it as far as we can. But what did the elites have a lot of that we also feel would be an empowering resource here? And that is what we've all determined would be that, which is money. So what you do is whenever, and this is unconscious, when you're, I don't know if your parents were like this, like you see a Ferrari drive by and your dad was like, oh, piece of shit, probably, fucking whatever. Well, now you've separated yourself from the idea of that. Now your own father, you don't want to shame that dude. So what are you going to do? You're going to be as not that as you can. And you're going to subconsciously dive deep within yourself to be as far away from the elites, therefore by proxy, as far away from everything you associate them with, which is also this phenomenally powerful resource here that people sweep under the rug. They focus way too much on, put on pedestals because it's over there, but also we disdain the thing that's over there. Think of it from money's perspective. That poor entity, that's a tulpa we've created, and we push and pull this toxic relationship with this thing. And it's all simply based on neurolinguistic programming. It's all words. It's the way you speak. It's abracadabra literally translates to as I speak, I create. And same thing in Genesis. God spoke everything into existence. So your words are incredibly powerful. Your attention and your words. And those two things are your main sources of power. It's got nothing to fucking do with money. But your feelings about money and your relationship to it have everything to do with the words and the programming around it. So it's just very interesting when you, again, start to look at this kind of stuff, that these ideas of good and evil, therefore there's a separate. So perhaps what some folks have interpreted that to say is that there are diametrically opposed energies here, but they exist within dichotomy. So there's a paradox in that one exists here, but they exist in the same place or the same reality together, but they have nothing to do with one another. But what they do have to do with is the dance of polar opposition. So you have this, you don't have sympathetic resonance with everything here, but that's what you need so that you can determine sympathetic resonance, or so you can be in lockstep with a few select things that will guide you straight through the myriad of higher percentages of shit not for you. And that's part of the game. It's part of this ability for you to see outside of everything and just to go, okay, these are all just options of experience. It's just nothing's going to hurt me. I'm not in any danger. I'm safe where I'm at right now. This world, the media in particular, says danger and threat are the same thing, but they're not. They're two very fucking different things. There's danger all around you all the time, but 0% of it is any bit of a threat worth your attention. And it's just interesting to be shown this and then to say, okay, well, what does a world without all that look like? And that's where I've been walking that path for a while now, but very, very lately, it's very bottlenecked and closed into a really finite, to where it's just been some fine tuning things and some big level up changes and some shedding of what no longer needs. And I just feel great, with the perception I have, because nothing out there determines what happens with me anymore. And that's it. It doesn't rock you from your moment of now, which is where all of your power is. And that's what's so interesting that I've discovered lately for myself personally, is that if you look at it from that standpoint, anything out there is going to be able to do one of two things: empower you and get you really, really excited. And immediately what you're going to do is your energy is going to swell. And then you're going to throw some of it to the future. And you're going to throw some of it around to some people. And then you're going to spread your energy out, and then it dissipates down. And then you're back to sort of baseline with this excitement. But the same thing happens when something shitty happens to you from your perspective. If you can maintain the idea that it happens for you, you'll be able to sit back and see that what it also does in the moment is it's able to scatter your energy. All your power, remember, is in the energy in the moment of now. And if something hits you, a shock, just anything. You get fired at your job, just some breakup, just anything. It has the tendency to split you. And if you allow that to happen, it'll continue to perpetuate to show you that that's what you're here to do, to keep your shit together, no matter what. It's got nothing to do with anything going on beyond anything. Let's say a bomb drops and now you find yourself in a certain situation. Well, it's easy for you to, from your present moment, look to a past version of you and be super pissed off at that dude and be like, why the fuck did you get me here? You know, I know about manifestation. I know about the echo. Why the fuck were your thoughts where they were? You know better than this. And now it's a hate fest rather than a love fest for a part of yourself. And it's way back there in the past. So now you're way over there and you're yelling at an older version of you that was just doing the best it could with the information it had at the time. And then you've also scattered your energy to the future timelines that haven't even been created yet, that you're just going, oh my God, holy shit, this is going to happen. Oh my God, what the fuck? And you're doing all of this from your present moment of now, which you can't find anymore. So the whole goal is to bring your power back to you and to have it right here. This is where all your vibrational ascension occurs. This is where all of your power is right here in this moment. I've ideas for this and ways to help. So if you ever find yourself where your mind is just sort of wandering around a bit or anything like that, all you need to do is just say the word change. That's it, good or bad. If you're thinking, oh man, this is gonna be so exciting and I can't wait, change. Oh man, remember that one time that I changed? Get back here. Be back with yourself, no matter what. In this exercise, get real control over where your mind is and where your focus is and where your attention is, which is right here. If you're having a conversation with someone, don't reach for your phone out of habit. If you're in the moment, be in the damn moment. Now, when you catch yourself, you're going to be so proud of yourself, because no matter what it is, you just stray to a little side road of thought. We all do this constantly, but to be able to recognize it is where you gain so much fucking power. All of it is in your attention, all of it. And this is why I feel that everything out there is so goddamn loud and fear-based and shocking and getting to you on an emotional level and can rock you and ring you in these ways and just throw all your power and just scatter it to the wind. And really with these practices, this is what I feel like we've been doing, is just bringing it back to us. Like the T-1000, you know, in Terminator 2, whenever he gets shot or something and a liquid piece of him flies off, it'll pull back together and come back to him. And it's sort of like when you're born here, you're indoctrinated. They just take little pieces of you, sort of like Osiris, you know, with Isis, when she was going around gathering up all the pieces of him, and they take all the pieces and just scatter him everywhere. Well, that's what happens to you during indoctrination and during domestication, as Don Miguel Ruiz calls it. And then you spend the rest of your time, as hopefully a short amount of time as possible, getting all of those pieces or powers back to you. You offer your attention and pieces of you to so many ideas that you don't even think about. This is, again, why it's very important to go through your idea inventory and your belief inventory and see, do these things that I offer power to still pertain to me? Do these beliefs still mean the same thing? Because if not, you've got a lot of open tabs of energies that are just going in different places in your mind that you don't even know of. You've got untapped resources within you that all they need to do is be called back to you. That's it. And it's just got to do with focus and alignment. Tune out the noise. It'll all come right back.